All right, so hey guys, here we are from Tigerden Collectibles again, and then we're trying to do another video. This is kind of a how-to video, one of the ways that I kind of find some stuff, and it's for, I would say, a beginner's guide. I mean, some people already do this a lot of, and so that's why it's not really a secret or anything like that. So I just want to kind of get everybody on the same page here as far as one of the systems I do here. So I might do a mini series of it. I mean, right now, I'll just call this part 1. Maybe only be about 5 or 6 minutes long. So yeah, I mean, comment below, take a look at it. If you're already doing it, that's fine. Again, it doesn't always work. I do use this one system occasionally because I'd say with this system on a yearly basis, I'll try all year round. I might pick up, I don't know, 3 to 10 collections. And when I say collection, it can be like 10 books or 10 little things or a single item or up to a few thousand items. And so this year in particular, I would say it was closer to 10. I didn't keep track exactly, but it was close to 10. So this system does work and it helps, and it makes a grind. I'm telling you, there's no easy way to do this, and but I am going to share one of the things I do that I know some of you already are doing, and if you haven't, that's why it's called a beginner's guide. Take a look, and hopefully that helps you a little bit. You know, I'm just trying to share some of the stuff I do, and then I'm just going to go for it, and let's just take a look at it. And also, if you just chime in, subscribe, and hit the like and bell button. Thank you. All right, so we'll start here. I'm going to open the screen. Oh, by the way, I'm using a phone. It's kind of ghetto, I know. I could be using a computer screen like a lot of other great YouTubers do, and I'm sure I'm going to do that soon. But right now, I'm just going to use a phone because I'm using my phone all the time anyways, and I just haven't quite figured it out, neither has my son. So here we are. I picked New York for now. I'm from New Hampshire. But I wouldn't mind driving to New York. But as you can see here, I'm on Craigslist. Yes, good old Craigslist. A lot of people keep telling me that Craigslist is dead. Yeah, it's, you don't find stuff as easily, but but you're grinding at it. I believe a lot of the stuff that you do, anyways, even if like 5 guys between them and I, we're in the same area and we're trying to find stuff and we're doing the same system, it still comes down to the right place, right time. It's always right place, right time when you're searching. Because I mean, let's say Johnny, my friend, is doing the same as I am. We're from the same neighborhood, but I happen to look at 5 p.m. and he looked at 5:10 p.m. And so I messaged the person before he messaged the person. A lot of people are pretty honest. They like the message in order. So, oh, this guy came first, so let me talk to him first. And then they just kind of move along the line from there. So, I mean, like I said, it's just, good competition is always good. I always, when someone gets something before I do, and on the same system, whatever, I'm like, oh, did you see that collection? Yeah. I said, you got there first. Now, was that you, Johnny? I was like, yeah, so it is what it is. So I lose some stuff from there too. I also walk away from collections. I said that before on a different video, so don't forget that you can always walk away. If the price isn't right where you can't move it, or if it's too much, if it's too close, you got to walk, because it's just, you're going to be sitting with it. You're going to be out money that you could be coming out with another collection. You know what I mean? So you got to weigh these options as you're doing this. Okay, so here we are. So I picked New York, and what you do in the Craigslist that you see here, I'm in the all for sale section right now. So I just, it's all for sale section, right? And then you see right just now, I just clicked the search bar on top, right? So this is on all. So it combines all the areas in one, right? And then you put in what you particularly collect, right? So I mean, hold on. So some of you guys who collect comics or toys or Pokemon or Nintendo, whatever it is. So I like to look for, by the way, the wider your spectrum, the better. Because let's say you're a comic guy, but you don't do Pokemon, or you don't do sports cards, or you don't do Nintendo, right? But it doesn't show up in the search. Sometimes if you look in the search, this is a really big tip, I think, in my personal opinion, which I've scored many times on this because people don't think of this. Like, you'll search, like, I'm a comic guy, mainly, right? But I'll put in Nintendo, because sometimes Nintendo guys collect comic collections. So a Nintendo thing pops up, right? And it seems kind of interesting, right? So then I'll message him about if he has any comics or knows anybody. And occasionally, he's not promoting the comics yet, but he was on his way to do it because he's wanting to move his Nintendo stuff first. So maybe you get a jump on that because he's moving Nintendo stuff, but you get to see his comics. Sometimes they'll say, oh, okay, yeah, I want to sell my comics too, but here's the Nintendo stuff anyways. But yeah, you can look at those first. Boom, now you're locked in, and it hasn't even advertised yet. So that's another good way to understand that. I think particularly Nintendo toys toys and comics go together real well, and cards and toys and comics and Pokemon, all that kind of tie together, and they don't always tie together, but they're related. So if someone's collecting one thing, sometimes they did collect another thing, and even if they didn't collect another thing, maybe they were collecting one thing for a while, but they moved on to something else, but never sold what they used to collect. So that's why I think it's important that you try to pop in these title searches for those words as well. So let's say I'm in New York here. I already kind of saved one here. So here we go. So there's comics right here. I put it that. So put the word comic. I don't like to put the word S, because sometimes people put comic books, and so there's pluralized S, but sometimes comic related items. So I try to keep it simple, and it gives me a mass search, right? And then here I am doing this for the first time for today, right now. And so here we go. So we're looking here. So you have all these comic related stuff coming up. Need old comic books, cash, blah, blah, blah. And you just kind of scroll. And I try to pick things that are within the last like 2 or 3 hours at most, because usually after about 2 hours, or on average, about 2 to 3 hours from its posting, when you click an ad, right? Let's say I'll click an ad right now, right? So here you go. Here's there's 10 issues here. It's not terrible, right? This is 29 days. So it's been there for quite a while. So kind of like backtrack from that, and I would say, okay, let's move on with something else and kind of move on to the next thing, right? So that's one thing you can do. And another thing, for example, here goes Pokemon. I put a search bar in there. If there's anything interesting that you might see, like, here, let's look at that one first, right? And you go into here, the reply button. Sometimes I'll leave their phone number. It says it's a robotic thing. You get to answer these questions on there, as you see here. Let's try to go through it once here. See if this guy has a phone number. Let's see. I can never do this right here. Just give me a second here. All right. Find the boats. I'm trying to find all the boats here. They're trying to make sure you're human. There we go. And this one only has, so there's an email. So you just click on that, and it'll take you to an email, for example, right? Okay, so I need to get out of this now, because now it's about to send me an email. So I need to return. How do I get out of this? Hold on, I think I'm not quite there yet. Oops, nope. Hold on. I'm going to have my son help me out here to get out of the screen. Again, this is actually not my phone, so I use a Samsung. I'm not sure if you guys are Samsung guys or iPhone guys, but I'm a Samsung guy, so I'm not exactly sure. Anyways, so there you go. So there's another option you can use to try to find stuff, but that's how you get in touch with people, right? And sometimes I try to send 2 emails instead of one to connect with them, because I want to make sure, like once you hit the email button, right, and then the top section comes, it goes, okay, hello, my name is, Richard, blah, 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 I'm interested in your stuff, blah, 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 you can contact me or call or text me anytime, blah, blah, and I'll send that. Then I'll send another one, I'll change the subject line, say, hi, I saw your stuff on Craigslist, I'm interested, because sometimes people don't see it, or sometimes it goes into spam, so I always send 2. So it's not just trying to find this stuff, but it's a lot of times trying to make sure you maximize. That's a big thing, maximizing the opportunity that you're trying to achieve, okay? And so on average, so here I just punch in toy figures. That's another good one. If you're a comic guy trying to find, again, toy figures, toys go with comics. And so I actually found a toy collection once. He had like 2,000 toys, right? And then it was tied together. He was moving the toys first. This happened this year. So he put online 2,000 toys, blah, blah, blah. It seemed pretty decent. It was like 80s and 90s, some 70s, like superhero type toys, So I messaged him, and he reached back out to me and said, oh, yeah, so do you have anything else like comic books to sell? He happened to have 6,000 comic books that he was going to move next. So that was, boom, jackpot. So basically, I went over there, met with him, and I made a deal for the whole thing. Brought my U-Haul with me, right, which I've done many times this year, and I tried to hook up the whole deal all at once. And now I have all the toys and all the comics, So, and it worked out good, So that's another option there, putting the toy figure. Let's see what else here we got here. This is a good one too. It's simple, but the word collection, that's a great word, So you just put the word collection, and it could pop up a ton of stuff of just collections. And you can look, sometimes you'll see coins, a coin collection. Coin collection pops up. You might want to hit it, see if they have a stamp collection. You just keep trying, keep trying different things. You never know what someone else might have had, or if they know somebody who happens to. It's always good to know a collector. Once you meet a collector, sometimes they can lead you to another collector that's maybe not their collection, but that leads to that. That hasn't happened to me, probably not as much, but still. I went through a hit collection, stamp collection comes up. I messaged him, do you have any comments? Which I knew that was reaching when I did that. But then he said, no, but my buddy of mine is actually trying to sell his. Boom, jackpot. So then he led me, he said, yeah, no problem. He really needs to sell it anyways. He's moving, so there we go. And that led me to that guy. And so a lot of it's pieced together, but I have to tell you, it is a grind, So I'm on Craigslist, so I wake up in the morning, sometimes 7 a.m., sometimes 10 a.m. First thing I do, I spend 5 minutes. It's like you got to be like religious about it. You know what I mean? Because it's dedication. Again, this is one system out of like 6 or 7 systems I do a day. Okay, so when I do this, you trying to find like you can brush your teeth when you wake up in the morning. Like, okay, get up, brush your teeth, right? So I have like all these tabs set up on my phone, right? Where I just go refresh, boom. Is there anything new this morning? So a lot of people like to post in the morning sometimes. Then I'll do it like again later on in the day, like during lunchtime. I'll do it again, right? Then I'll do it again maybe sometimes when I have a free moment, and I'll hit the refresh button. Maybe if I'm in the bathroom, I'll hit the refresh button. Maybe if I'm at dinner time, I'll hit the refresh on all my tabs, right? And then before I go to bed, guess what I do? I hit the tabs, hit the refresh button, right? And there's a lot of like what we call potential leads. Like, oh, this is interesting. It takes 10 seconds of your life to email them, right? And people are always asking me this question, Richard, how do you find stuff? And they don't just show up, and anybody who's been trying to find clutches understands that it's not easy. It really isn't. It's really, really hard, And so, it is a craft that you skill, and you have to be dedicated and disciplined. If you really want to do this, you need to dedicate your time. I'm telling you, the dividends that you pay, and this I'm showing you one right now. On my next video, on part 2, I will show you another version that I use, and I also use a refresh style. It has nothing to do with Craigslist at all, but it's also a good one, And and I have multiple businesses that I do throughout the day, and I have a full-time job, just in case anybody's asking. This only takes a couple minutes at a time, and so I kind of bracket these in, and I'm sure other people get deals before me in my local area, but we all get our fair share at the end of the day. But as long as you're grinding at it, at the end of the day, I probably put in maybe all together, maybe 2 hours a day at most trying to search for stuff, right? And that's like 7 days a week, so 14 hours a week. And then the return on that, right? Think about it, the return, right? I've probably found this year, I don't know, maybe 60 to 70 collections, 60 to 70 collections, give or take, because I average between 2 or 3 collections to as much as 10 collections in a month that I find. This particularly just because I remember 2020, this year. This is where at the end of the year, it's December 23rd, I would say, yeah, roughly. On a bad month, I might skipped 2 months in a row where I found nothing, right? Even in the COVID year, in 2 months I didn't find anything, but then the following month I found like 15 collections. It's crazy. So if I average it out, I don't know, roughly 60 or so collections, and yeah, it's been great. The hunt of it is the best part of the whole thing. You know what I mean? So again, here we go. I'm looking here. And another good avenue, Craigslist, there's a lot of ways to hit Craigslist. Okay, this is what I'm saying. You got to grind at it. So the next option is this. So every weekend, there is a garage sale in most people's areas. And even if it's bad weather, people have indoor sales because there's outdoor sales, right? So you go to as you see my screen here, I'm in the garage sale section, right? So same thing. Look at what's going on. A few days, a lot of people put their garage sale ads up early on the week, right? And you look for it. If there's anything that seems kind of oldish, estate sale, whatever, boom, pop them an email. Do you have any da-da-da-da-da? If you do, I am a cash buyer. Cash always speaks volumes, okay? So make sure, and listen, I started doing this like 9 or 10 years ago, all right? And I started with $100, okay? And I built myself where my liquidity can be where money becomes power, okay? So then with $100, I try to buy, a collection that's, I don't know, probably worth $300, $400, $400 or more, maybe $500 if I'm lucky, right? And then I'd always put away half of it, and then I would keep the other half, right? And I would keep a few things too, because it's fun. Collecting is fun, right? So like I said, this didn't happen overnight, but if you're already starting with a better budget than I started with 9 years ago, then you're already off to the races, I'd say if you can start with, $500 to $1,000, that you can continuously move and flip, that's important to do. Or if you collect it more than anything, that's great too. But having that is very, very important, that budget. But I noticed most of the collections this year that I bought probably fall in between the pocket of $500 to about $3,000. That's probably the biggest get range, and that for $500 to $3,000. I mean, I could find anywhere between like 4 or 5 long boxes of comics to as much as like, you know, 20 or 30 long boxes for $3,000. You know what I mean? So it just depends what it is you're finding. And I guess it all depends what's in it. Like people always say, well, is it all junk or is it quality? Obviously, you know, it was a smart buy because I bought it. Because if I don't think it's worth it, I'm going to walk away, right? I'm always trying to look to try to get 3X. You know, I'm not satisfied with 2X, 3X. If can I get 3X out of it, then it's worth my time. You know what I mean? So anyways, yeah, so that's another avenue. Garage sale, hunting, and sending them messages about that, right? And I always double the email. Remember, double the email. Don't just send one, always send 2. Listen, by the way, disclaimer, whatever I'm saying doesn't mean I'm right. I do want to say that again. However I do my way, it just works for me. I'm hoping, I mean, it can't hurt to do what I'm doing. So if you have your own way twist and whatever, and that's fine. This is just me sharing what I know that's helped me. Obviously, I mean, I feel great about what I've been doing, you know? So if it helps you, great. Okay, moving on. One more here I wanted to show you. Oh, this is a big one too. So if you're, let's say you might be in LA or you're in like Manhattan, New York, right? So you gotta be willing to travel. Like how far are you willing to go? Like my last video, I said I drove 8 hours. Like I'm willing to go. I'm willing to dedicate myself and go for the right stuff, you know, or the right hunch. I'll go. I mean, I've driven as far as Pennsylvania, which is almost like 10 hours from where I am one way. But, you know, obviously I get enough information to where I think it was. So I'll hit Craigslist from New Hampshire all the way to Pennsylvania. And I'll hit every single town around it that shows for towns. So this is New York, and it showed a listing that says Allenstown. So yeah, if I'm in New York, then I would hit Allenstown and I would search all those too. So I don't do that as much now. I try to stay a little more, but I will if I'm really like, if it's really kind of like straight, I'm having a really slow couple of weeks, then yeah, then I'll start reaching further and further and further and out. Because you never know, because everywhere, there's always a chance you could find something. So, like the New Jersey collection, I went as far as looking in randomly. Now it's random. I was just like, that was one day, literally. I literally went with this. I went to a New Jersey thing. I said the girl texted me, but at the same time, she did text me that because I texted her first after telling her that I was interested in the collection that she said she posted in New Jersey. So, bottom line is that I was lucky enough to be able to talk to her and then get to know her, and she wanted to say, okay, invite me over. So I went. I obviously got enough information to where I feel like it was worth a shot to go for it. And that's where you saw the ASM 129, etc. And that just happened like a week ago. So, and that was on just a whim. I did that. I literally searched that the week before. I mean, like 2 days before she reached out to me, which was like December 12th or 15th or whatever it was. It was like within the last 10 days. And then the day later, I was already in the works making that happen and setting up the time and date to meet her, etc. So again, guys, I hope this helps. This is just some stuff. This is one system that I've been doing, and I hope this was interesting for you guys. And do share, spread the word. I mean, maybe you don't want to spread the word to your competitors right now, but I'm sure some of them are already doing it or doing something like it. But this is one of the systems that I'm still using to this day, even though people say Craigslist is dead. I disagree. It may not be as easy, but I still think that you can find stuff through Craigslist. So again, if you liked what you saw, please make some comments below. You know, share some stories that you have as successes from Craigslist. That'd be exciting for me to know that if you are using it, or things that I might miss that you want to share back to me, I would love to hear as well. Again, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and like if you can. And we'll see you. I'm going to do a part 2 on another one of my systems that I use for finding stuff for beginners. I mean, it might be for beginners or maybe for experts, but I just said beginners. I want to be safe because I don't want to, insult anybody who's already been doing this for a long time. And so again, I'm just a guy just having fun finding collections and making some money off of it too. And so I hope you guys can too as well. Again, till next video, peace.